time, I'm going to go ahead and start the video. We're going to talk about chapter 1 of the book and, of course, the article reading. But I just want to do a few housekeeping things. First of all, in order for me to take roll, if you would please type your name in the chat. First and last name. And excellent. It's fun to watch it going by so quickly. I remembered to grab something to drink. I have my trusty Topo Chico. Does anybody else drink Topo Chico? Basically bubbly water. One of my faves. And if you are able to turn on your camera, do so. If you're not, I'm trusting that it's a connection issue, which is fine. Let's get started. I want to show you a couple of things. Hang on just a sec. I was trying to share this, but I don't have this set up quite right. Technology in the classroom. Am I right or am I right? There we go. All right. All right, couple of things. Here's our keynote. Here's our agenda for today. Now, I use the same agenda from year to year. I use the same slides from year to year every spring. So there are going to be some things on here that do not apply to you because we are teaching virtually. So every time you see background check, just, click next. You do not need to worry about background check. If for some reason in eCourseware that comes up, just don't worry about it. Go on. You will not need to do a background check for the time being. Although I am having a meeting later today about observations and virtual teaching virtual observations that you might be able to do in Shelby County schools, but I won't have any information about that until later this afternoon. So for the time being, no background checks. We will talk about Hoffer chapter 1 in a moment, but I do want to do a little bit of syllabus checking in a moment. Also, talk about the David Huron podcast of Sweet Anticipation. I always try to make music every class. That is a little bit of a challenge now that we are virtual, but I'm going to start that routine today, I hope. And I hope you will join in the spirit and in which it is intended. And then we'll talk about the article. I do want to, I really like memes. I think a well-written meme can communicate a lot. There are a lot of poorly written memes going around, but I actually had a different one on this slide, but since we're virtual teaching, this is the one I resorted to. Normally, I'd be cajoling you into signing up to volunteer with the University of Memphis Honor Choir. We'd be getting ready for that in the next couple of weeks, but we're not doing that. So our next item of business, and actually I'm going to create a slide for this right now so you can see it in writing. We are going to do a Kahoot. Thumbs up if you've done a Kahoot before. It's a hoot, that Kahoot. So what we're going to do is, as I said, I wanted to kind of quiz you on the syllabus. Normally, if we were in class, I would do a syllabus scavenger hunt and have you in groups. But again, that pesky pandemic has gotten in our way. So we're going to do something this way. If you are not familiar with Kahoot, it is a web-based app that you can basically play a game on, and you will respond with your device. Now, let me see. Let me figure out how to do this. So you're going to go to Kahoot. Oh, you can't see this. Sorry. Okay, first of all, you're going to go to Kahoot, well, let me just write it. Duh. Okay, come back, Zoom. There we go. Kahoot dot. Darn you, autocorrect. It keeps autocorrecting. KAHOOT .it. Did it dot? No, it did not. Well, www.kahoot.it. Let's see if this will work. Okay, that should work. And I know you're multitasking, watching me and doing this. Type in that code. And the game should come up. Aha. Whoops. This is my little waiting room music. This is a dramatic piece called The Nose by Shostakovich, of all things. I will post the link for this if you'd really like to watch it later, because it's pretty hysterical. It's basically tap dancing noses. All right. I'm going to trust. Are we all in? We're still popping in. All right. I don't know if we're all in. If you are unable to join, I will be good with that. Okay. Of course, I can't see start the game because, there we go, start. All right. So this is our Foundations of Music Education challenge. You will use your device to answer. What is your instructor's name? Specifically, how should you address her? There are your choices. All right, look at that, 100%. You may think it's silly that I ask you this, but I've actually had students address me by my first name. I know that may be the culture in your studio, which is fine, but in music education, address us by Dr. whatever. Okay, and trying to monitor the chat also. Dang, I missed it, sorry. All right, so far we have Kedrick in the lead. Am I pronouncing your name correctly, Kedrick? I hope.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, but several people very close behind. All right, what is the name of the course textbook? All right. Only threw one person off. And, oh, Chloe has taken the lead. All right. Getting pretty competitive here. Which edition of Introduction to Music Education? A little more challenging here. Woohoo! Good job. All right, let's see who's in the lead. Still Chloe, Kedrick close behind. Amanda, Matthew H., and Caroline. All right. How many assignments do you have in this course? And note that I differentiate between assignments and observations because those are separate things. Ah, variety of answers. So the correct answer is 4. You only have 4 official assignments. You also have observations. Those are not quite as intense. Not that the assignments are that intense, but they're a little more time consuming maybe. Anyway, all right, let's see where we are now. Oh, we have a new leader, Amanda, but Kedrick is holding strong in second with Caroline at a close behind and Tiffany and David K now. Woohoo. How many video observations do you have for the class? And yes, 4. So 4 assignments, 4 observations. All right, let's see where we are. And Lucian has the highest answer streak of 5. Go, Lucian. He is on fire. But Amanda maintains her lead with 47.03. With Caroline, Kedrick has fallen to 3rd. Kedrick, you're breaking my heart. Come on. Okay, true or false? Dr. Klossner loves for you to email her your assignments. I'm glad the sarcasm came across in that question. You are correct. I do not. Amanda maintains her lead. Caroline and Kedrick, a close 2nd and 3rd with Matthew H. and Chloe. Matthew H. is rising. If Dr. K updates the syllabus, she will. Yes, I will post it to eCourseware. I rarely email. I did email it to one of you out of the kindness of my heart. But yeah, post it to eCourseware. That is the most efficient way for me to get it to everyone. Efficient and equitable. All right. Are there any more? Nikki is making a comeback with 3 in a row. Go, Nikki. Membership in which organization is strongly encouraged for this course? All right, good. National Association for Music Education, sometimes referred to as NAFME. And we will learn a lot more about that later in the semester, but there is a NAFME meeting coming up. I believe it's next week. I don't know if they've sent out the email. I will have to get on those people. Pardon. That was it. In 3rd, Kedrick. Caroline is in 2nd, and our top winner is, drumroll please, Amanda. Woohoo! Runners up, Matthew and Chloe. Thanks for playing. That was pretty fun. So I hope you enjoy that. Whoa.
Harpooned and fought, and when she died down below. Harpooned and fought, and when she died.
Oh my. All right. Let's get back to class. Sorry, one of my colleagues sent that this morning. Um, so I would think that a lot of you are on TikTok, and we were discussing the other day in residency. Residency is, well, let's see if one of you can tell me, what is residency?
Isn't residency essentially when you go into the school or a school and just you observe and then you also teach at the same time? It's like getting an experience before you actually earn your degree and become a full-time teacher.
Right, right. So residency is typically done in your senior year. Um, and it's what we used to call student teaching. And some of them still refer to it as student teaching, and I have to get on them about that. University of Memphis has a full year residency model. Student teaching is only a semester, and actually it's only a portion of the semester. But U of M, before I got here, they adopted the residency model. So yes, 13 of our music education students are now in residency. Last semester we had 15. 2 of them graduated in December. They actually were off a semester due to the pandemic and got to finish in fall, which is very rare. But anyway, we were all talking about how suddenly the choral music education residents, we're talking about how suddenly their choirs are really into sea shanties. And I was like, well, that's cool. You know, it's actually a really great way to engage students if they really like it, especially in middle school when it is hard to get boys in choir. Sea shanties are a great way to get them involved. So I was like, well, yeah, that's cool. And they're like, no, Dr. Klossner, it started on TikTok. And because I'm not really a TikTok aficionado, I didn't know as much about that. So one of my colleagues sent me that this morning. I've got to explore that a little bit. I've been trying to stay off social media a bit, but I don't know, I may get sucked back in. All right, so let's get back to business. Where did my keynote go? All right, so
Down below, may the wellerman come to bring us.
sorry about that. All right. Okay, back to the keynote. All right, background check. As I said, we are not worrying about that. And before we get into music in schools, I want to do a quick, where did it go? Finder, messages. Oh, that is it. I want to do a quick tutorial on eCourseware. Are you seeing foundations of music education? Sometimes when I pop between tabs, I'm not sure if it's translating well on Zoom. All right, so if you go to your eCourseware and you click on Foundations of Music Ed, Course Home, this is what you're gonna get, and you'll get any messages will be on that home page. Now, for some of you, I know you're going, I already know this, why are you telling me? Because I've had a few questions, so I just wanna try to be as efficient as possible and answer all those questions at once. So that's Course Home. At Course Home on the right, you will see upcoming events. And if you click on those things, it'll take you to whatever's due. Like the most immediate thing that is due is your musical journey in 3 songs. With this being an example of basically how you can frame your assignment. And then, you know, whatever's due which is Hoffer chapter 2. And actually, I'd forgotten there was a textbook problem last year, so I actually scanned chapter 2. But beyond that, you will need the textbook. And then, February 5th is the next big assignment. If you click on content, then you can go week by week. If you go to table of contents, it will open to a window that is very long and has the contents for the entire course. You can just scroll through it. But if you want to instead focus on week by week, you can do that. Here's the Zoom link, should you ever lose it, or week 1. And in week 1, in that folder, essentially, there are some subfolders. One of them is the readings for the week, YouTubes of further interest, and these are up to you to watch. If I really want you to read them, if I really want you to watch them, I will make them required, but otherwise, it's basically at your discretion and time. I understand that time is not an abundant resource right now. Okay, and then there was, notes. I will always post the notes from each day, and they are in PDF. So if you need to go back and review something, they will be up there and you're welcome to download them. If I embed a video in the notes, I'll put the link down here, but I'm not going to embed the video because it would be enormously huge, obviously, and then that won't work in PDF. But basically, yeah, your notes are there. The pre-assessment survey, I need to put a timer on that. So you guys, that'll pop up and you, but if you would take the survey, that'll give me an idea of everybody's understanding. Field experience background check, you don't need to worry about that. Okay, somewhere I put the video. Oh, here's the video. I will also generally post the video of class unless everybody is there. So if you need to go back and review it, you are welcome to do so. So there you go. And I try to edit out dead time, but they generally wind up being an hour. I don't know about you, but when I've been doing YouTubes, I have, I speed them up, especially when it's like a lecture or something, because it's just a little slower. But so that's a consideration. You go over to settings and just play them at 1.25 speed or whatever you need. So there's that. But let's get into the chapter. So chapter 1 of the text, as we said last time, we are all innately musical. We talked about, was it nature or was it nurture? It's both. We are innately musical as human beings. This has been proven there. If you watch the video of the saxophonist that had brain surgery, did anybody watch that? So if you watch that, you will, it's basically that music does lie in a very specific part of the brain. Interestingly, it is not in the part of the brain where your language lies. Language and music are two separate things. Some of you instrumentalists may be thinking, well, duh. But choral folks, you sing words, yes? And that is different than your speaking. So, for example, and you may know this, people that stutter, if they sing, they don't stutter. And it's because it's in a different part of the brain, which I also found very fascinating. So think about some ways in which you value music. What are some ways you value music? Would you put it in the chat, please? How do people show that they value music? Not necessarily you, but anybody. All right, where'd the chat go? Attending concerts. Yeah. Yeah. It shows emotions that others don't. Evokes emotions that other kinds of stimuli don't. Very good. Hosting large events before COVID. Yep. Singing, playing it all the time, buying music. It's going so fast now. They dance. Yes. Thank you for bringing that up. Dance is a musical response. So music is not just playing and singing. It's also dancing, moving to music. If you're ever in a concert with me, if you're sitting by me, you may be annoyed because I cannot sit still when I'm listening to music. I'll be rocking, or I don't know, you'll just see that I'm moving, and I have a hard time not conducting too. It's kind of annoying. Yeah, you get chills, there are physical responses. So there are all these things that happen with music that we really don't get from other subjects. And people people show this appreciation or get involved, show that they value it by doing all these things. I'm kind of going back so I can read some of these. Attending concerts, hosting festivals, conferences, singing at important events. Yeah, a lot of important events are marked with music. Think about, did any of you, by show of hands, did any of you watch any of the inaugural events yesterday? So at the ceremony, there was a lot of music. There was, of course, the Marine Band, the President's Own played. Lady Gaga sang. Thumbs up or thumbs down? Did you like her interpretation of the national anthem? Interestingly, there was a review online by an operatic soprano that really liked it and liked that she played with the meter and just a little different. So, and for the purist out there, the national anthem actually started as a drinking song. So I think playing with the meter a little bit and mixing it up is actually okay. Having it play all the time. Yes, there's always, think about when you're in the store, is there music playing? There's always something playing. Even in restaurants, a lot of times there will be some music. Literally everywhere. Yep. Yes. We show value in music because it's in schools. People buy music, attending concerts, dance, listening to headphones all the time, playing. Yep. Playing an instrument, going to a symphony, buying albums. And then you appreciate a lot of music physically moves us and gives us a physical response, supporting artists, financially supporting the culture you find music. I was going to say something else. Oh, also music is also very much tied to culture. Different cultures have different musics, obviously. So, okay, let me get back to where'd the keynote go? There it is. Yeah. Okay, so why music in schools? We need formal instruction in reading, science, math, history, and music. And the text says the learning of any subject requires systematic instruction. It says usually from a trained professional. I'm going to say always from a trained professional. Music educators have usually not been very diligent in educating school officials and the public about what a good school music program should be like. Question, did any of you believe that you did not have a good school music program? And you don't need to out whoever your teacher was, but in any point in your school career, did any of you not have a good music teacher?
Yes.
Okay, tell us about that.
Um, well, well, let me rephrase it. I wasn't necessarily. I was involved in um, a program that helped in schools, not necessarily my own school, because
Mhm.
I actually came from a school that was it had a very well-rounded music program, and there was a lot of good things that went into that. But have I have been involved with programs that, for lack of a better term, weren't as fortunate or didn't have the same kind of funding, didn't have the same kind of
Mhm.
um, uh, teachers in a way that I guess to me it just seemed like they had a different perspective on it and a different perspective of the value of it in a way, even though they were music teachers, which it was just odd to me. I didn't, I'd never really seen it in the way that they did, or that maybe they valued certain things um, that maybe where I came from wasn't quite as um, or what wasn't. What's the word I'm looking for? Like there were other things that were a little bit more important from where I came from, and I guess I hadn't been exposed to it, and I didn't know, I'd never known like, oh, in different places, this is seen as more of a, it's more focused on maybe this aspect of playing or performing or
Right, right.
learning or
Yeah,
all
thank
that
you.
stuff.
Good, good. Yeah, depending on where you're involved and who the educator is in the school or whatever system you're in, it could be a community music making opportunity, a church choir or a community band or choir or a church band, whatever. There will be different levels of expertise, let us say. And I've actually had, I remember last year I had one of the foundation students told me, actually, I want to become a music educator because I didn't have a good music educator at, this level or that level in middle school or in high school or elementary. And that, um, that can actually be an impetus for some to go into. So, one of the reasons we study music, and we talked about this a bit um, last time, was the aesthetic experience and having aesthetic education. Aesthetic meaning concern with beauty or the appreciation of beauty is the adjective. Like an esthetician is somebody that can make you more beautiful, either through your hair or makeup or whatever. But aesthetics, that word aesthetic, and it can be spelled different ways. This is the most common spelling, this AE, the word beginning with AE, but you may also see it starting with an E, but it's basically the same word. Excuse me. And then as a noun, a set of principles underlying and guiding the work of a particular artist or artistic movement. So I want to give you an example of an aesthetic experience. Do we have any actually, I was going to say with the choral folks, but really, I know a lot of, uh-oh, where'd it go? Stop share. Hang on. I know a lot of instrumental folks may be familiar with the work of Eric Whitacre. Yes? Thumbs up, thumbs down. You know Eric Whitacre? All right. And so I think when you're, for an example of an aesthetic experience, I think the music of Eric Whitacre is a good, can be a good example. Um, just the colors he's able to create, the harmonies he's able to create. And I wanted to share this with you. So this is in case you don't know, I am from Texas. I taught in Texas. I basically grew up in Texas. Lived there from the time I was 5 until I moved to New York after my public school career, but spent a lot of time in Texas. It's obviously a very large state and has a very thriving music education program. Um, I say that because, I mean, it's just, uh, yes, go Texas. Stephanie, are you local? See, these are things that we would be finding out in class if we were in person. Are you from Tennessee? Are you from Texas? Or
So I was born in Texas and my family is from Texas, but I grew up here.
okay,
So yeah, I was born in Dallas and then around my first year of life, we moved to Memphis. So
okay, well, good, cool. My kids are in the Dallas area, but I taught in the San Antonio area for many years. In San Antonio and then in a small town outside of San Antonio. But one of the things Texas is known for is very, very large conventions. In February, they have the Texas Music Educators Convention, which is um, either the largest or one of the largest in the world. I think the last time I was there, I think the count was 28,000 people were there. So it's enormous. This is a clip from the Texas Choral Directors Association conference, and 2016 is noted on there. And well, we'll just watch. This is Eric Whitaker. He's in the middle. You'll see him at some point, but here we go. So I'm going to move it up a little bit toward the end because there's a bit I want you to see at the end. Let me play like the last minute. So was that the most beautiful performance of Sleep ever? Probably not. In fact, they were all, I mean, they hadn't really rehearsed. They grabbed the music. You know, there's always a huge exhibit hall at Texas conferences, and the publishers are there. So these choir directors just had the score, and they gathered in this atrium area and arranged themselves sort of by voice and made this performance happen. It was very much in the moment and unrehearsed. But do you think there was an aesthetic experience? Now, you're probably not getting that aesthetic experience because you're listening to it. The sound quality is not that good. The balance is not great. So it's very much an experiential thing. And that's the beauty of music, because it is both this aesthetic experience, but there are all these technical things, all these knowledge and skills. Think about some of the knowledge you have of just the reading music and being able to read the notes and read the rhythms, and then the technical aspect of vocalists, your voice and breathing and holding your body and the way you stand. Instrumentalists, your breathing, also your support, all the things that go into playing. And that's the unique thing about what we do. It's this beautiful blend of all the smarts you need, all the knowledge you need, the technical proficiency, the skills you need, blended with this beautiful artistry. And that's the beauty of music education. That's something students don't get in science class or in math, or not. They're no less worthy. It's just, this is a very important thing. And this is what you will, we hope, give to students someday. And this is why we need music in the schools. We need both, excuse me, we need both them to learn these technical things and, you know, expand their critical thinking skills, but also learn to appreciate and experience and make beauty in their lives, make artistry, because we need that. So, all right, back to this. Where was I? Non-musical reasons for music. One of the goals for this class is for you to be able to, if you were in a school and you had to convince your administrator of why we need music, one of the goals is for you to be able to do that. And one of the things that a lot of people say, well, this is why we need music. It's good for language development. It's good for spatial reasoning and attitude towards school. How many of you went to school because of your music class, because of band, because of choir, because of orchestra? I was one of those people. And I said yesterday, when I was in elementary school, the music teacher was the magic teacher to me. I was like, this is so cool. We just go in there, we make music, we have fun, and I don't have to sit and add, do 50 addition and subtraction problems. That was just magic for me. So that attitude to school, that, ooh, I want to go to school because of music, because of, what we're going to do in jazz band today, or what we're going to do in choir, or what we're going to play in orchestra. And so there is a lot of research supporting that. The research is actually of questionable quality about the addition that it is to spatial reasoning and language development. There are also many non-musical benefits that can be achieved in other areas of school. Like, we know, how many of you became more disciplined people because of your involvement in music? I know I did. I became a much more focused student. Looking back, I know now that I was very ADHD in elementary school and really struggled academically. And it wasn't that I couldn't do the work, it's that my attention was getting in the way of it. But when I got in music and learned to practice and could suddenly practice for 1 and 2 and sometimes 3 hours, I learned focus through music. But that's not why we study music. Yes, that's a nice non-musical benefit of it. Other non-musical claims tend to divert attention from the fact that music merits serious study, music for music's sake. And that's what I'm trying to impress upon you, is that yes, it may help with language development. It may help with spatial reasoning. It may encourage students to go to school. Is that why we teach music though? No, no, because other things will also accomplish that. Other things that help with language development, English class, and all the classes really can help with language development because it increases vocabulary. Spatial reasoning, you can get a lot of spatial reasoning from math and other courses like that. So yes, it may help with those things, although again, the science is out on that. The research does not necessarily support that. So 2 important points. The non-musical, let me put this in play mode so I can focus this a bit. Oh, come on. I'll lose my cursor when I do this. There are valid and, sorry, I've lost my cursor. There we go. There we go. There are valid and supportable reasons for including music in all schools apart from those non-benefits, those non-musical benefits. Those non-musical benefits are just bonuses. That's the cherry on top of this dense cake with great icing. And the cake and the icing are the musical reasons we study music. Music for music's sake. We are innately musical, and that innate musicianship needs to be enriched with passionate, educated, capable music teachers like you will be someday, because of music, not because it increases spatial reasoning or attitude or focus. It's because we study music for music's sake. Those other things are just bonuses. There is usually little a teacher can directly do to make these psychological and avocational benefits happen. Skipping down to the bottom, teachers cannot use a teaching procedure that ensures any non-musical benefits, although good teaching, which we hope and are trying to equip you with through our program here at U of M, can help create a situation in which they are more likely to be realized. So with that, I want to do a little something. So what I'd like you to do, excuse me as I'm moving around while I'm talking, what I'd like you to do is stand up. We're going to move a little bit because I can see you. I can see you drifting off. So I'm gonna try something with you that I hope you will join in. As I said, I really like to make music with really all my classes for some portion of class every time. So stand up and stretch a little bit. We're going to do something that's called body music. I'm going to give you this visual real quickly. I hope you can still see me in the corner. So this is called Keith Terry body music. And you see I have kind of a pyramid of numbers. and they're 1 and then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We're going to start with 1, and 1 is going to be a clap. Would you clap and say 1? In fact, let me turn on, I got to adjust the sound. Turn on original sound. There we go. Share screen. Back to this. Here we go. All right. So 1. So we've got that. Now we're going to go to 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So 1, chest, chest. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Try that with me. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. All right. 4, 5. I'm going to back up a little bit. Didn't think about this because it's going to be a whole body thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the front of your thighs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In fact, I'm going to stop sharing this and just do this way. So let's try that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. Let's try this. Let's do a pattern. Can you do 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? So give me a 3, then a 5, then a 3, then a 5. It'll look like this. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Join with me when you are able. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Stop. All right, good, good. So far, so good. It's weird to do this at a distance. I'm just trusting that you're keeping up. Now, so we've done 3, we've done 5. Guess what we're doing next? Yep, 7. So 7, where 4 and 5 were on the front of your thigh, 6 and 7 are kind of on your hindquarters. My dog won't let me be great. Sorry. So now we've got 7. Let's just try 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. How you doing? Eh? Try this. Let's do a 3, a 5, and a 7. 3, 5, 7, 3, 5, 7. Okay? Let's do a few of those. Here we go. Ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Eh? All right. Our last 2 numbers, we're going to add 9. What do you think they're going to be? Not your head. Other direction. Your feet.
Stomping?
Yep, stomping. And we don't have, obviously we don't have the same effect. I love when I do this at school because our old classroom, we wouldn't be in this classroom this year, but our old classroom, excuse me, was, our old classroom was 286, which is upstairs in the music school. And the day we would do this, we're right above the music education suite and the director's suite. And I would always get comments, what were you doing in there? Because it basically sounds like a herd of elephants upstairs in the music school. So we're going to do 9. So starting here, 1, 2, 3. Okay, take 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. How'd you do? Meh? Let's try this. We had been kind of setting up a pattern. Let's see if we can do all the odd numbers, a pattern of 3, then 5, then 7, then 9. 3, 5, 7, 9, and just go through that a few times. Someday we'll get to do this all together. Ready? Here we go. 1, 2, wah! Cut. Sorry. Try it again. Ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Thank you for indulging me. Now, I would encourage you to keep trying that on your own. I'm a little winded. I'd encourage you to keep trying that on your own. There's a lot of cool stuff you can do with that. You can actually do that in Canon. You get different groups and do the whole thing in Canon. And what's really cool is that the accents, the claps, start landing in different places and they start like phasing through, and it's just super cool. But obviously we're at a distance, so it's not quite the same. In fact, while I was doing that, hang on, I gotta get a drink. I was thinking, you know what? I think I could throw something together in a cappella with this. How many of y'all are familiar with the a cappella app, which allows you to record different tracks? So in all my spare time, I may try doing that. So, all right, so let's get back to this. I hope that, if nothing else, revived you a bit, but, excuse me, also made you realize that a lot of different things can be music, and making music with the body can be a ton of fun. So, does music make you smarter? Here's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about the Steve Demarest article. The Demarest, I know there's a second name. Is it Demarest Morrison? I don't know, whatever his name was. We're going to talk about this for a bit, but I also want to show you how to take apart an academic article, because you will have several of these. You'll have some in this class, but you will have these throughout your program at University of Memphis. And if you learn how to take them apart, they can be a lot, you can read them a lot faster. Because I remember when I started reading academic articles, it was just a lot and difficult to take it all in. And there we go. Make it a little bigger. So if you understand the structure of the academic article, it can help you pull this together. So I'm going to be flipping back and forth between this, and I actually had it linked. Let's get rid of Mr. Whitaker, and I'm going to pull this up in eCourseWare. You know, I was sort of talking about eCourseWare and got sidetracked and did not come back to it. But do know that week by week, and I think I have all the dates correct. Yeah. Week by week, you can go in there and find stuff. I tend to throw a lot of stuff in there, so you may have to scroll through a little bit. But we are on week 1. And notes. Let's see. Readings, Demarest and Morrison. That's it. Demarest and Morrison. And I put timers on that just so you know you do need to read it. So, does music make you smarter? This was an article that appeared in, well, it should tell us. It was one of the NAFME journals. And it's actually a little bit older, Music Educators Journal. It's an older article. Let me scroll through. Well, here it is. Oh, 2000, yeah, Music in the Brain from 2000. So you start reading this, and probably if you're like me, you notice the first thing, oh my gosh, this is about 6, 7 pages long, or maybe 8. I don't remember how long it was. But let me help you take it apart. So thankfully, Dr. Demarest had divided it into different sections, and it's really lined out by the headings at each section. But what you need to know is there will be an introduction where the writer talks about what the article is going to be about, but there is a purpose statement. A purpose statement. So let's go back to the article and let's scan for the purpose statement. Because I'm serious. Once I learned this, I was like, oh. And I'm going to let you in a little secret. I learned this when I was a doctoral student. So I went through a lot of my teaching career and basically my schooling, not knowing any of this. My bachelor's and my master's, and I had to read hordes and hordes and hordes of articles when I was in my master's program. But yeah, I learned this in my doctoral degree. Oh, well. Anyway, okay, so he starts talking about, there's a lot of stuff on how music makes us smarter, blah, 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 and he'll go along, and you want to look for the purpose of this article, or in this article, I will, or something like that. Now, I'm going to put you a bit on the spot and ask, does anybody see anything about what this article might be about? And when I'm scanning for this, I will often, when I open a PDF, I will do a search for a certain word. And the certain word I usually search for is purpose. And if it doesn't come up, I'll search for article. And if you do article, you will see right here he said, whoops. Let me go back to my slides because I actually have it screenshotted on my slides. Screenshot. Here it is. So in the second column on the first page at the bottom, it says this article will carefully review some of the better known studies examining potential relationships between music or music instruction and other areas of knowledge. We will address the specific results of studies, discuss where they are most often misinterpreted or overstated, blah, 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 blah. So basically he's saying we're going to look at the studies that examine relationships between music and music knowledge. And then we're going to talk about the results of those studies and say how they were misinterpreted or overstated. And so that's his purpose statement. So look for the purpose statement. And then he said, we're going to talk about studies. So it's other research studies that other people have done. And he did say studies, and it's previous research on this subject. That's called the review of literature. So they review study 1, study 2, and study 3. Study 1 was the study in which they played music for college students and then gave them the Stanford Binet. The Stanford Binet is often referred to as an IQ test. They gave this to them before and after, and they found that their IQs went up. Now, it's a little more complicated than that, but that was the big, it was sort of an interpretation, but it actually turned out to be a very specific, under very specific circumstances, and it didn't take a lot of things into consideration, so it was basically misinterpreted, but that IQs went up. Another one was with a group of children that were receiving piano lessons, and their IQs were found to be 34% higher. And so it goes through all these different studies and talks about what the studies found. And then at the end, they will do a conclusion. And what the conclusion was. So, what was the conclusion? Did they find that music makes you smarter, or, as you're probably guessing, as I've sort of alluded to, were the results misinterpreted? Let's do this. What I'm going to do is I'd like you to review it again for our next class on Tuesday. So review that article now that you kind of know how to take it apart, and I will post these notes with all those highlighted bits and read through those, and I think you'll be better able to take it apart and understand this. And let's discuss that on Tuesday. Another thing I want to talk about is, I alluded to this last Tuesday. It seems like a week ago right now, about an introduction video. Hang on just a sec. Yeah, that's a good point, Caroline. I do want you to do an introduction video, and I'm going to give you some time to do this, because I know you're probably overwhelmed with a lot of stuff you have to do right now. But I'm going to open a discussion board in eCourseware. I intended to have it open by now, but I got a little busy too. But I want you to be thinking about this. In your introduction video, you're going to tell us your name, of course, because I'm trying to connect names and faces and get to know you a bit better. You're going to put your name, what your concentration is. Your concentration is if you're instrumental or choral or other, because we do have a few people that are other. And then tell me what your instrument is, or tell us what your instrument or instruments is or are. And then your last thing is going to be tell us which TV character you most relate to. I'm writing this in the chat. And you can record this on your phone. And then a couple of choices. I'm going to tell you that eCourseware usually will not support posting video, because it's just not big enough. The videos are too big for eCourseware to support it. I would recommend that you upload it to YouTube. And if you need some instruction in that, I will post something, because I had to do that last semester with the elementary methods students. We did a lot of virtual teaching that way. So I will give you more instructions on this written on eCourseware. It'll be in a discussion board. But start thinking about this. And it doesn't have to be fancy. You don't have to do heavy editing or anything. Just, grab your phone or whatever device to record it. You can video that way. You can also start your own Zoom meeting and video that way. That's another way to video. I do that actually a lot and it works pretty well. But hey, whatever works for you. But I'm going to give you some time to do this. Maybe like if we could have these done early February, that would be great. And that way we can get to know each other a little bit. I'm trying to get us a little more connected and get us to know each other somewhat, although a lot of you may be in different ensembles together. But so have that in your on the back burner. But most immediately, what is due tomorrow, I think, is what I put. All this other stuff is up here. Don't worry about that. That's not true. It's not on here. The thing that is most immediately due are your 3 songs journey. And that will be submitted via eCourseware. I think I put the due date as, yep, there it is, January 22nd at 11:59. I generally make assignments due around midnight. That doesn't mean you need to submit them at that time. You can do them now if you'd like. Earlier is always better. I'm a bit of a procrastinator. I'm sure I'm the only one in the class, right? That was a joke. So you are welcome to submit them now, but they are due Friday at 11:59. And I understand stuff comes up, stuff gets in your way. Do your best to be timely, though. And I will tell you the Dropbox for this assignment will close. And after that point, you will not be able to submit the assignment. So, and I have done that with most of the Dropboxes for our assignments this semester. So I think it's generally a week after the assignment's due, the Dropbox will close. So if you go to Course Home and you just click on whatever's due on the right hand side, that's one way to get to it. You can also go to Content. See, this is more steps. Week 1, and then scroll through. Oh, there it is. Scroll through and you can get to it that way. Submit it via Dropbox, either as a doc or as a PDF. And I think that's about it. And if you would name the assignment your last name, so typing, and then we go to save. And when the save box comes up, save it as your last name, underscore assignment. Whoops. No. Can I spell assignment 1? And that's all. Okay? Doesn't need to be fancy. All right. So that's all I've got for you today. I will post the notes in later today and possibly a link to the video, although it's going to be pretty long today. Would you also make sure that you have typed your name? What if you already turned it in? Can we change? Yes. If you have an issue with any file that you submit, if it's not the way you wanted it and you want to redo it, that's fine. I'll always look at the most recent one. It timestamps them, and I'll take the most recent. So if you submit an assignment and there's something wrong with it, that's not a problem. That happens all the time. I'll always look at the most recent. Make sure that you've typed your name in the chat box. If you have any questions, I'm going to hang around for a few minutes. Otherwise, I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you for your time and attention, and I'll see you next Tuesday. Bye, guys.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.